Well, some news recently came out on the 2024 season for ISMA and MSS. We broke it last week. We actually talked to Jimmy Bodnar. There's a new team coming to the tour, and they will be at every single race this year. And a guy we know a little bit from last year, Tyler Shullick, finished 17th in the point standings. And yeah, it's related to the other Shullicks that you do know. He ran 5 races on the tour, and the 28-year-old will be on tour for every single race this year for the ISMA MSS season. So let's head over to Vermillion, Ohio. He's on his way to his shop right now. Tyler Shullick joins us, and of course he is a car chief on the Ty Majeski number 88, so he has a real important job during the day. How you doing, man? I just saw this. I just talked to Jimmy the other day. How are things going?
Good to talk to you, Doug. Yeah, everything's good. Just a bit busy this time of year, but everything's coming together.
I talked to Jimmy. How did this come about from you, and did you even have any idea something like this could happen?
It's always something, you hope and, think about, like, man, I wish I could, something would come together. And I got a text one morning, and, I kind of couldn't believe my eyes. And I'm like, looked at my engineer that was sitting next to me, and I said, Ryan, I said, do you think this is what I think it's about? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's got to be. So, I was pretty excited from that point on, and got to talk to Jimmy a little bit, and we had lunch one day, and it's kind of fallen together since then.
Yeah, and if you look at the picture we did with Jimmy last week, that's a picture after they had that lunch. Why was the text very detailed, or was it kind of, hey, let's talk about something? What was it actually?
He just kind of hinted around that he wanted to talk about my plans for this year, and a little bit about my work schedule, and what I did, and this and that, and just kind of see where I stood, and it kind of all came together from there.
So what was the meeting like?
It was good. We just had a quick lunch there at one of the little joints in Vermillion, and talked about schedules and racing, and Jimmy had talked about building a new car, and the possibility of having me drive it. So I was really, really excited and really, really nervous. At the same time of hoping, man, I really hope this comes together, and luckily it did.
Did we actually solidify the deal during that lunch, or did it take a few weeks to work things out? Because, like you said, you've got a regular job that you can't just leave.
No, it came together a few weeks later. There was things I had to think about and talk about, and and same thing on his side. So we both had decisions to make and see where we stood and what we wanted to do. So it all came together a few weeks later.
And to have this as a new team, I mean, you got to feel great about that, because not only is it's something you're not going to worry about sharing cars or things like that, but it's also great for the series to have another new team. Seems like the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't. If I had to scheme one up in my mind, it would. This would probably be it. I couldn't really ask for any more than what Jimmy has offered and brought to the table. And him and his father have got a ton of experience and knowledge. And at the time, I'm just trying to be a sponge and learn as much as I can, and being prepared as we can. With being a new team, there's a lot of unknowns and things that we have to just take on as they come. But I feel like we've got the people in place and the knowledge to do so.
Were you a little nervous about asking for the time off?
With the time that I had to do it, as far as I did ahead, sure, I was a little nervous, but they were very generous on helping me out. So, and I believe they know what a great opportunity this was. So, they're just racers just like we are. So, they were generous enough to work with me on that and make both seasons happen.
And again, we did Jimmy last week, so make sure to go back to that and listen. So I would imagine you've got to get to the shop a few times just to make sure everything fits and you fit in there right, don't you?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things we've talked about is getting comfortable and getting a seat forward and making sure that's on the the top of our list to make sure that I'm comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, it makes my job a lot harder. It makes Jimmy's job a lot harder if I'm chasing my seats, and trying to get comfortable and tell him what the car's doing. So that was one thing Jimmy and Jim also talked about, was making sure that everything felt great, and I just had to worry about driving the car, not getting comfortable at the racetrack.
Now, I don't know as much about the supers like you do, but I know some guys like to be a little bit more up on the wheel, maybe a little more upright. Do you have like a particular way you like to be in the car?
I necessarily don't. I couldn't say sitting up or not. The supers that I have drove, I've just kind of got thrown into, and here it is, and we've thrown beach towels and anything
really?
you could find behind me or beside me, and well, that was the best we could get at the time, and just kind of ran with it. So I'm really, really excited to actually pour a seat in this car and get the steering wheel where I want it, and actually get comfortable before we get to the racetrack.
Yes, this will be the most comfortable car you've ever driven. No need for beach towels and all of that. How does that work? I've heard people use that term, to pour a seat. How does that work?
I've never done one, so I will be a learner of the pouring of the seats. But I believe it all helps form right to you and how you sit. So there's no needed padding or anything extra.
Yeah, because I've heard of people sitting on pillows and have pillows on the side and everything, which is really, you really want one that fits you like a glove. So I guess we'll get back to you on that. Have they given you any timetable on when you might actually be able to sit in an actual car, or is that something that is still to be determined?
We're working at it. It's I think it should be close when we're getting there. The process has begun of putting the car together, so that's a start, and I think it'll be here before too long. We're ready to start on that.
Some new dates on the calendar this year versus last year. Any that you're really looking forward to? Any tracks that you're sitting there going, man, I can't wait to get to that place?
I really enjoy Berlin. Berlin's a ton of fun. It's fast. It's wide. You can really move around. Oswego, obviously, I've had some success there and enjoy going there regardless. And then obviously the High Miler is one that I've watched my dad race at several times, and just the nostalgia of that one. I'm really excited for High Miler.
I talked to Jimmy. He said one of the things that's pretty cool is we got a couple third-generation guys working together on this project. I'm sure that didn't escape you, did it?
No, that was exciting. Jimmy, made it clear from the start that he would, if my dad was wanting to be involved, he could be involved, and I think that's going to be very beneficial. Having my dad involved, and then obviously Jimmy's dad involved,
mm-hmm.
and the knowledge that just those two together can bring, I feel like we're headed in the right direction already.
And he mentioned they're going to do some testing out there probably before the first race, by the way. That's Oswego Speedway on June 1st. They have a rain date for the second for that one. Are you a guy who sets goals? I mean, do you come into this saying, I'd like to do this and make sure I accomplish that? Or is it more just one race at a time and let's try to get better as we go?
Yes and no. I think we go into the season ready to win races and, maximize points, and keep that in the back of your mind and try to win races and do the best we can. And hopefully, when mid-season kind of rolls around, the points start showing up in our mind, and, we're ready to chase after a championship.
Now, we recorded this Thursday on the 8th. You guys are getting this about a week later. So by the time you listen to this, Tyler is going to be down in Daytona. I've never been there. Eventually I want to go down, especially for this first race in February. Is it as cool as I think it's going to be if I ever did get down there?
It's definitely an experience. Daytona's pretty neat. Just the history that place holds is very exciting, and you feel it when you walk into there. What all's going on at Daytona.
So you really felt that the first time you were there in a professional capacity?
Absolutely. It's kind of humbling walking into that place. You don't think it'll be that big and light up that well, but when you get there, it really does.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the old videos from back in the 60s and stuff, even the 50s from back at that place, so I could imagine. Well, I hope you guys have a good time down there. Hopefully things go well for you. And when you get a little closer and you get some things going in the shop, make sure that we get back together, and we'll let everybody know how things are going when the car looks a little bit more like a race car.
Sounds good, Doug. I really appreciate this, and we'll talk soon.
All right, again, make sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications, leave a like, leave a comment if you'd like. If there's something you'd like us to talk to Tyler or Jimmy about down the road, you just make sure to do that, and we'll make sure we get that to you. So more to come. ISMA, MSS, the schedule begins on June 1st.